What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Grey Zone Warfare video. And today we're talking about the early access launch. Now the purpose of today's video is not first impressions. I was a part of the playtest last week, so for my first impressions on the game, be sure to go and check the video out. Today I just wanted to touch on how the game was for me, some slightly early issues I ran into, the optimization, and then give a little bit of feedback on quality of life changes that I feel would benefit the game. And if you guys enjoy the video or find it helpful, be sure to drop a like, comment and subscribe. Any support means the world to me. But for now, let's discuss Grey Zone Warfare. Now, let's start off by addressing the elephant in the room. There's a lot of speculation going around that Grey Zone just preemptively chucked the game out into early access due to all the issues going on with Tarkov. I remember seeing a post from one of the developers saying that the game was due to actually release straight after the playtest, but either way it doesn't really matter. The game itself is nothing like Tarkov and doesn't even aim to take the Tarkov player base. The games are completely far apart. So please, for the love of God, stop trying to compare the two and just take Grey Zone Warfare for its own thing. Now if we talk about the optimization and how the game ran for me on the first day, surprisingly it actually ran better for me than the playtest. I mean, during the playtest, I was hitting around 50 to 60 frames. And for the most part, for the first few hours, I was floating around 70 to 90. And that was running the game on medium, with the FSR turned on, and frame generation. There were some dips in some areas, and when I went to new areas that I'd not been to before, there were some slight hiccups and lower frames. It sort of seemed like it was loading that part of the map into the server. But of course, I'm not a developer, so I'm not entirely sure how the systems work. I also noticed for myself that turning on native AA improved the game as well. It made it look crisper and run that a little bit smoother. But if you are having issues, guys, just try and play around with the settings. Mine's definitely improved a hell of a lot, and it's definitely one of the better early access games I've played. Everybody's using different hardware, so it's not going to be easy to optimize everything straight out of the gate. Just try and be a little bit thoughtful. There's no need to go around and spew hate towards the developers. Nobody put a gun to your head and asks you to buy into early access. And buying into early access, you're investing in the game and the developers. So if you can see the vision and the potential the game has, then why not try it out? Why not help the developers? And if it's not your cup of tea, then yeah, of course, by all means, wait until the game's had some more time to cook. Now, there's not much to say when it comes to the servers. Having server issues in an online game is huge in the industry, and it happens to the best of the best. My main issue so far with the launch is the servers. And of course that's led to stuttering and desync issues, especially with the hit reg, but the servers will improve from here on out. I know the developers were diligently working to add more servers, so give it a couple of days, things will level out, and hopefully we'll see a big improvement. So I do have some small suggestions that I do believe would definitely improve the quality of life with the game. Firstly, I want to discuss the landing zones and the extraction choppers. When you're playing in a team, you can't tell if your teammate has called in a chopper, and if they have, you can't see which landing site it is or the time until the helicopter arrives. I feel like a small prompt on the screen or a voice over the radio saying that the extraction chopper was on its way would be beneficial. And then of course, mark which landing zone it is on the map so everyone in the team can see. And I know people will say, well, you can just tell your teammates in Discord which landing zone and how long the chopper is. Yeah, you could, I get that. But I just feel like it's a small detail that would just help a lot. And next I wanted to talk about your locker back in the base. And oh my god, is it a pain to sort out. The way you have to juggle the items because there's no sort screen is very frustrating. I must have spent over 30 minutes trying to sort my locker out. I had to constantly drag small items into bags or rigs just to make it easier. So please, Madfinger, add an auto sort button for the locker, and please add some sort of sort screen where you can drag items to the side and then you can sort your stash out manually. Which kind of leads me on to my next point. You need to be able to loot backpacks. And no, I don't mean backpacks of those that you've killed. I mean your own backpack or a backpack that's on the ground. When I was out doing a quest, I decided to pick up a second backpack that I found. So I placed loads of items inside the bag. And then I had to drop the backpack to get some other items. But then the problem is, the bag you've dropped on the floor with your items in, you cannot search that unless it is in your inventory. I was fighting for my life trying to sort out a bag and my items, but without the ability to be able to search it when it's on the ground, it just added a complete nightmare to sorting out what items I needed to take with me. So I didn't set out to make a long video on the first few hours of the launch of Greyzone Warfare. I already had my first impressions video up from the playtest, and obviously the developers are listening to the bigger creators in terms of feedback and suggestions as well. So I didn't want to repeat things that had been said before by bigger creators who obviously have a broader audience. I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of my experience the first few hours of the game. Look, if you take anything away from this video, just please take away the fact that the game is early access. So please don't be giving hate to developers. Of course, everything's going to improve over time. You guys, by investing in the early access, are helping the developers fund that progress. Constructive criticism and feedback, make sure you give it to the developers. And hey, if the game's not for you, that's okay too. It might be too early for you to enjoy the game. Whichever the side of the fence you're on, it's okay either way. For me personally, I see the vision, and I plan on making a lot of content for Greyzone Warfare. It's early days, but if you guys want to stick around and see more, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.